Ukraine, Zelensky's in big trouble. He's just firing the man who's been running the war for him, who's a genuine national hero. They don't have the supplies that they need. The Russians are unrelenting in their continuing attacks. And NATO, thank God, is standing with the Ukraine. But where is the United States of America? And by the way, among Republicans, there is a reluctance to give aid to Ukraine. This is, to me, one of the most, it's a subject of a book, really. How can the Republican Party, which has played such a vital role, be retreating like this? And how in the world, Beowulf, can they take direction from one man, Donald Trump? And if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee for president, at the moment it appears he will be, it will be, well, I think Trump will lose. By the way, you've seen the latest polls this morning, which now show Biden with a 2-point advantage. But I think it's far more than that, because I don't think the American people will vote to go back to the Donald Trump vision of America. I just don't think that's what we want.
Well, I sincerely hope that you're right. And on a recent trip to San Francisco, I don't think I had ever been there before, or if I did, I was very young. But I went to the Herbst Theater, right by the Civic Center in San Francisco, and I saw an enormous painting there, and I realized, which I had not before, that that was the location of the signing of the UN Charter. And it was, I was moved to be in such a place where such a critical international organization had been created. And it made me think about how dangerous the idea of stepping back from organizations such as NATO and the UN are. That again, that kind of isolationist retrenchment is so dangerous and has caused so many of the great wars that we have seen in the last 150 years in this globe.
I'm glad you mentioned that mural. I am the biographer of Harold Stassen, and I can tell you that every time I walk into the Herbst Theater in the Veterans Auditorium, I see that mural, and there's Harold looking down at me. And it's interesting to think that. I was talking to my son this morning about the failure of the United Nations, and yet I've never given up hope. I still believe the lessons of the failure of the League of Nations are important, and I would point out to you, the League of Nations failed, and we had World War II.
Yeah.
We have not had a World War III because, in part, the United Nations exists.
Yeah.
So good point. And I'm glad you noticed that mural. It's a very important part of San Francisco.
I had not realized that Harold Stassen was a part of that. And I'm so glad that you brought that in, being his biography. I hadn't realized that there was that connection.
He was really the author of the Charter of the United Nations. And if you read our book on Harold Stassen, I wrote it with Alec Kirby and David Dallin, you can go online and you can order a copy. Just Google my name, John Rothmann, Rothmann, and you'll see the publications, and you can order a copy of the Stassen book. It was published by McFarland Press. And I can tell you the section we have on the UN would have made Harold proud.
That's fantastic. Well, I was glad to have been there. And as I am each week, John, I am so glad to have you on this program to illuminate current events with your excellent wisdom and knowledge of history. You will find in the description of this podcast a link to Around the Political World with John Rothmann. I advise you, I strongly suggest to you, I urge you, follow that link, and you will find there 5 times a week, plus Monday through Friday, 10 minutes of illuminative wisdom from John Rothmann, our guest weekly here on Facepalm America. John, thank you so much for being with us today on the show.
And thank you. And I want to commend everyone of the fact that Beowulf Rockland does such a great job. Spread the word about this podcast. Let people know about it. It's well worthwhile.
Thank you so much, John. All the best.
See you next Monday.
Thank you so much for listening to Facepalm America. I want to thank Ace Elson and Rosabelle Hine for being the producers of this program. Please check out facepalmamerica.com and share a link to this program on social media so that your friends can find out about it and they can listen too. It really helps what we do here. And until next time, enjoy the day.